Recently, I've gotten a lot of questions from people saying things like, do you like animated movies more than live action movies? Why do you only talk about animated movies on your channel? No, I don't prefer animated movies to live action one, guys. Depends what I'm in the mood for and what the genre is. Actually, my top 5 doesn't even have an animated movie in it at all, so no, I don't prefer animated movies. Interesting that my favorite Christmas movie is one that no one's ever heard of, but yes, Arthur Christmas is definitely the best movie I've ever seen about Christmas. Except, obviously, for The Princess Switch 2, Switched Again, where Vanessa Hudgens reveals her best acting role yet, a snobby triplet princess diva. I watch it every year, and I constantly and forcefully recommend it to anyone who will listen. Arthur Christmas, not Princess Switch 2, obviously. It didn't do well at the box office, it was never really acclaimed, but despite this, it still has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. Still, ignoring the pretty good reviews this movie has gotten, it feels like this film was made for me. As I've said before, I am a massive Christmas dork, so any Christmas movie that I adore would have to heavily feature the holiday. You know, lights, Santa, the whole shebang. Well, it's pretty difficult to get more Christmassy than this movie, to be honest. Of course, you have all the great colors and the vibrant animation, although Santa's character design is, a bit dated, I'll be honest. But you also have a ton of really creative ideas about the holiday. And that's what sells this movie. The way Christmas is run in the beginning is so captivating because all of these creative ideas are thrown your way 100,000 miles an hour. Turning milk and cookies into biofuel, the way the ship turns invisible, the special gadgets used to make animals and cars quiet, the way everything happens so quickly. Oh, it's just so pretty. I haven't really seen a Christmas movie develop such interesting futuristic ideas. At least not as many as this movie. Most Christmas movies, as good as they are in their own right, tend to focus on wacky scenarios or slice of life aspects. But this movie takes Santa Claus and the whole myth and wonders what a modern take on the operation would look like. But don't worry, all you fans of wacky scenarios, there is no shortage of that in this movie, as its disregard for basic physics is hysterical. Remember the scene where Arthur sings Silent Night in order to make these lines they're chased by fall asleep? Remember the scene where a random guy fires a shotgun because he thinks Arthur is an alien? Remember when the gang find themselves stranded in the Atlantic Ocean? All these scenes are so creative, and it makes the mundane dialogue 10 times more funny based on how high the comedic potential is.
Do you want to wake up the whole North Pole?
Good idea! A child's bedman!
That's the girl that Santa hates! She runs away, alcoholic by the age of 9, dead!
The voice acting also plays a big part in this. Arthur, Steve, and Santa Claus all do great jobs, but it's really Bryony and Grand Santa that make their lines so memorable. Also, Bryony is the best thing to ever happen in this movie, sorry not sorry. The animation's beauty and high-paced nature also helps these voice actors really let loose. Look at all the different details, the North Pole, the background, the villages. They really do help you get into the Christmas mood more than any other movie I've ever seen. Everything pops off the screen, from the African lions, to the vibrant cities, to even the fire at the end. It hits a certain level of wonder you can only pin on one movie. Underneath the captivating concepts and setups, there's also a really interesting family dynamic with memorable characters and distinct personalities. The 4 core clauses in particular are emblematic of just how genius this writing is. They're each perfectly made to be enemies, but they have to stick together because blood is thicker than water. The first dynamic we see play out in this movie is the title of Santa, with the next Santa being Steve should the current Santa decide to give up his role. And what's so great about these scenes is how it portrays both characters as extremely likable, but also both in the wrong at the same time, and that is a hard thing to do. At first it looks like Steve is gonna be the villain. He doesn't seem to care about individuals, thinking of children as a collective whole, but in the end we learn to sympathize with him because he's going through a really tough situation. He has constantly rejected the Santa title despite him doing everything in the entire operation. Steve isn't the enemy. He does have antagonistic traits like treating children like numbers and sometimes being a bit uncaring, but he's also undeniably good at his job. He's the one who had a 99.9999999% efficiency rate, not his father or the one before him. Even despite his impressive numbers though, he is still constantly criticized for missing the one child that made his night not a 100% success. And on top of that, he's blamed for everything that goes wrong, even though he doesn't have the title of Santa to begin with. He is probably one of the most interesting characters in the movie because you're rooting for him, even though he does some cold things, like that priceless scene in New Mexico. Steve is also put at odds with Grand Santa, as he believes that the best way to deliver presents is the old-fashioned way, with a sleigh and reindeer. Steve, on the other hand, has dismissed the notion outright and drastically changed the way Christmas is done, adding a huge spaceship and including those, again, insanely creative gadgets. Seriously, I cannot stress how cool that is. But the real reason this story is so focused is because it's about Arthur trying to calm everyone down and give them the best Christmas ever, every single year. He always felt like a naive 10-year-old to me, always being cheerful and never starting arguments. He has a sense of wonder in every scene because you can tell he has a genuine love for the holiday, and that's accomplished with his relationship with his fear. Arthur is scared of everything, but learns to put his life and the security of Santa at risk just to deliver this one girl her present, because he has such a kind heart that he can't bear the thought of not getting something for Christmas. He embodies my love for Christmas, and he's one of the many reasons I love rewatching this film again and again. Seeing him have a huge smile at the thought of anyone having a good Christmas is extremely heartwarming. I love that even though everyone else in his life finds this one girl's present trivial, he still finds a way to get it to her. It truly is a testament to his joy in the holiday, and especially Santa. Throughout the movie, he gushes about Santa in a way that makes him seem above everyone else. In his eyes, he's perfect. However, the sad truth is, Santa is just a person. He learns that at the end of the day, Santa is not above making mistakes, which I think is a really good lesson to learn for kids. I mean, have you ever viewed your mom or dad like a superhero? Arthur, however, chooses to accept this and goes to understand that everyone, at the end of the day, is just a person. He overcomes this and delivers the present anyway, in a really great climax to cap off this gem of a movie. 9 on 10, 10 on 10. Well, I guess that's it. Elf is really good, I just didn't want to talk about it because everyone knows that. Okay, bye!